Number 40, the mudskipper. Among the most remarkable of all amphibious fish, the mudskipper spends the majority of its life entirely out of water, using its muscular pectoral fins to drag and propel itself across mudflats and mangrove shores with surprising speed. Mudskippers breathe through their skin and the lining of their mouth and throat, which must remain moist at all times, allowing them to absorb oxygen directly from the air as long as they stay wet. Number 39, the climbing perch. Native to South and Southeast Asia, the climbing perch possesses a specialized labyrinth organ located just above its gills that functions like a primitive lung, drawing oxygen directly from the atmosphere when water conditions become too poor to sustain normal respiration. The climbing perch can travel remarkable distances over land, using its gill covers and fins to push itself forward, and has even been documented climbing low vegetation in search of new water sources. Number 38, the snakehead fish. Few freshwater predators carry a reputation quite as formidable as the snakehead, a long-bodied, sharp-toothed fish that can breathe air using a suprabranchial organ and survive out of water for up to 4 days by keeping its skin moist. Snakehead fish have colonized new waterways across multiple continents precisely because of this overland capability, wriggling through wet grass and mud with a sinuous, almost serpentine motion that has earned them a mythological status in some Asian cultures. Number 37, the walking catfish. Originally from Southeast Asia, the walking catfish uses stiffened pectoral spines and a side-to-side body motion to move across land between ponds, swamps, and flooded rice paddies. Especially during rainy season when travel becomes easier, walking catfish breathe atmospheric air through a modified gill chamber and can survive for extended periods on land, which is why this species became a serious invasive problem in Florida after escaping from fish farms in the 1960s. Number 36, the lungfish. The African lungfish represents one of the most ancient surviving lineages on Earth, capable of breathing through actual lungs rather than gills, and able to survive complete drought by burrowing into mud and encasing itself in a mucus cocoon for months or even years. Lungfish can remain dormant in this state with their metabolism reduced to near nothing, waiting patiently for the rains to return and flood their habitat once again. Number 35, the mangrove rivulus. Tiny but extraordinarily resilient. The mangrove rivulus is one of the few self-fertilizing hermaphroditic vertebrates on the planet and can survive out of water for weeks at a time by absorbing oxygen through its skin while sheltering inside rotting logs above the waterline. Mangrove rivulus has been found living in coconut shells, crab burrows, and leaf litter well above the high tide mark, thriving in microhabitats that no other fish would dare occupy. Number 34, the eel. The European eel undertakes one of the most extraordinary migrations in the animal kingdom, traveling from rivers across Europe all the way to the Sargasso Sea to breed, and during overland portions of this journey it can absorb oxygen through its thick, mucus-covered skin. Eels have been reported crossing wet meadows and damp forest floors at night, wriggling with impressive efficiency through grass and soil to reach connecting waterways. Number 33, the gourami. The gourami family of fish, widespread across Asia, possesses a labyrinth organ similar to that of the climbing perch that allows it to gulp air from the surface and process oxygen outside of the water, enabling it to survive in stagnant, oxygen-depleted ponds where most other fish would suffocate. Gouramis are known to drown if prevented from accessing the water's surface, a paradox that underscores just how dependent they have become on aerial respiration despite being fully aquatic animals. Number 32, the tilapia. Certain species of tilapia demonstrate a remarkable tolerance for terrestrial conditions, with some populations observed moving across wet ground between disconnected pools in semi-arid environments where water sources dry and shift with the seasons. Tilapia are among the hardiest fish alive, capable of tolerating extreme salinity, temperature, and oxygen fluctuation, and their ability to briefly manage on land is just one component of a broader physiological flexibility that has made them one of the most farmed fish on the planet. Number 31, the leaping blenny. Found on rocky shorelines across the Indo-Pacific, the leaping blenny has abandoned aquatic life almost entirely, living and feeding on algae-covered rocks above the waterline and returning to the ocean only to reproduce. Leaping blennies breathe through their skin and are extraordinarily agile, using a tail-curling spring motion to launch themselves across rocks and escape predators with jumps that seem almost comically energetic for such a small fish. Number 30, the tarpon. The tarpon is a massive, silver-scaled predatory fish of coastal and estuarine waters that gulps air at the surface using a modified swim bladder that functions as a supplemental breathing organ, allowing it to thrive in warm, hypoxic lagoons where dissolved oxygen levels are dangerously low. Tarpon roll at the surface in a distinctive behavior called rolling, visibly gulping air before diving again, and can survive brief stranding events that would kill less adaptable fish almost immediately. Number 29, the bowfin. The bowfin is a living relic, the sole surviving member of an ancient fish lineage that once spread across the globe, and it uses a vascularized swim bladder to breathe air directly, allowing it to survive in stagnant backwaters and even survive brief periods out of water. Bowfin are aggressive ambush predators that can tolerate low oxygen conditions better than almost any other North American freshwater fish, and adults have been found alive in nearly dry mud after periods of severe drought. Number 28, the GAR, armored in thick, diamond-shaped scales that have resisted evolution for over 100 million years. The GAR uses a highly vascularized swim bladder to supplement gill breathing, allowing it to inhabit warm, sluggish rivers where oxygen levels drop dangerously low in summer. GAR can be seen rolling at the surface of bayous and slow rivers to take gulps of air, and specimens stranded in shallow mud have survived for short periods before rain or human intervention returned water to their habitat. Number 27, the red-eared slider, one of the most widely recognized freshwater turtles in the world. The red-eared slider can remain submerged for months during cold hibernation by absorbing dissolved oxygen from the water through specialized tissue near its tail, a process sometimes called cloacal bursy respiration. Red-eared sliders are also highly terrestrial in their daily habits, basking for hours on logs and rocks and traveling overland between wetlands, sometimes crossing roads, fields, and gardens with surprising determination. Number 26, the painted turtle. The painted turtle endures winter frozen beneath ice-covered ponds by dramatically slowing its metabolism and absorbing what little oxygen it needs through its skin and cloaca. Surviving months in near-total anoxic conditions that would be lethal to most vertebrates, painted turtles emerge from hibernation in early spring and move readily across land to bask, nest, and find new water bodies, showing a comfort on dry ground that belies their aquatic primary lifestyle. Number 25, the diamondback terrapin. The diamondback terrapin inhabits the brackish salt marshes of the eastern United States and moves freely between water and land throughout its daily and seasonal routine, nesting on upland sandy banks and sometimes traveling considerable distances from tidal creeks. Diamondback terrapins are capable of tolerating both full saltwater and nearly fresh conditions, and their time on land during nesting season exposes them to significant overland predation and road mortality. Number 24, the common snapping turtle, built like an armored tank with a neck that can strike with shocking speed and reach. The common snapping turtle wanders overland with surprising frequency, particularly during summer nesting season, when females may travel a kilometer or more from their home wetland. Number 23, the alligator snapping turtle, larger and more prehistoric in appearance than its common cousin. The alligator snapping turtle lies motionless on river bottoms for extraordinary stretches of time, luring fish with a worm-like pink appendage on its tongue, and surfaces only occasionally to breathe. Alligator snapping turtles do move overland, particularly younger individuals, and can survive for considerable time on land when moisture and temperature conditions are favorable, making them capable amphibious travelers despite their enormous bulk. Number 22, the softshell turtle. The spiny softshell turtle lacks the hard protective shell of most of its relatives, instead bearing a leathery, pancake flat carapace that allows it to bury itself in sandy riverbeds and absorb oxygen from the water through its highly vascular skin and pharyngeal lining. Softshell turtles move on land with surprising speed when threatened, racing on their long legs toward water with a low, flat-bodied stride that seems almost reptilian in the most primitive sense of the word. Number 21, the Nile monitor. The Nile monitor is one of Africa's most powerful and adaptable reptiles, an accomplished swimmer that hunts fish, frogs, and crabs in rivers and lakes, but equally at home stalking prey across dry savanna and rocky terrain far from any water source. Nile monitors breathe air exclusively as all lizards do, and their forked tongues constantly sample the air for chemical signals as they patrol riverbanks, termite mounds, and even urban environments with the unhurried confidence of an apex opportunist. Number 20, the water monitor, Asia's largest lizard and one of the largest in the world. The water monitor is a powerful, semi-aquatic predator that swims expertly using its laterally flattened tail and moves on land with a slow, deliberate swagger that masks its capacity for explosive bursts of speed. Water monitors have been documented traveling kilometers overland between water bodies, and their ability to exploit both aquatic and terrestrial ecosystems has made them one of the most ecologically successful large reptiles across the entire Indo-Pacific region. Number 19, the American alligator, cruising silently through blackwater swamps with only its eyes and nostrils above the surface. The American alligator is equally capable on dry land, where it basks, nests, and travels between wetlands on short but purposeful overland journeys. American alligators breathe air exclusively and have a unique unidirectional airflow lung system more similar to birds than to most reptiles, making their respiratory biology among the most efficient of any living reptile. Number 18, the saltwater crocodile, the largest living reptile on Earth. The saltwater crocodile can be found far out at sea as well as in freshwater rivers, coastal estuaries, and even crossing stretches of open ocean between islands, a feat accomplished by riding ocean currents rather than sustained swimming. Saltwater crocodiles breathe air and must surface regularly, but their slow metabolic rate allows them to remain submerged for over an hour at rest and to survive without food for months, making them extraordinarily resilient travelers across both water and land. Number 17, the hippopotamus, weighing up to 3,000 kilograms. The hippopotamus spends the majority of its daylight hours submerged in rivers and lakes to protect its thin, sensitive skin from the African sun, but emerges every single night to graze on land, sometimes traveling over 10 kilometers on foot. Number 16, the manatee, drifting through warm coastal waters and river estuaries with slow, deliberate grace. The manatee feeds almost exclusively on aquatic vegetation and surfaces every few minutes to breathe through nostrils positioned at the very top of its broad, whiskered snout. Manatees are fully aquatic and cannot move efficiently on land, but their lungs and diaphragm run horizontally along their bodies, giving them exceptional buoyancy control and the ability to hang motionless at any depth with minimal effort. Number 15, the dugong. The dugong, close relative of the manatee, inhabits shallow coastal waters from East Africa to Australia and feeds exclusively on seagrass, grazing along the seafloor with its downturned, bristled snout and a posture that gives it a strangely bovine quality. Number 14, the walrus, massive, tusked, and magnificently whiskered. The walrus hauls itself out of Arctic waters onto sea ice and rocky beaches in enormous congregations, sometimes piling so densely together that individuals must climb over each other to find resting space. Walruses breathe air and can slow their heart rates dramatically when diving, redirecting blood flow to essential organs and allowing them to reach depths of nearly 300 meters in search of the clams and mollusks that form the core of their diet. Number 13, the leopard seal, sleek, powerful, and unmistakably predatory. The leopard seal patrols the edges of Antarctic sea ice hunting penguins, fish, and even other seals with a broad-jawed gait that makes it one of the most imposing predators in the Southern Ocean. Leopard seals breathe air and haul out on ice floes to rest, and on land or ice they move with a lurching, caterpillar-like motion using their foreflippers, capable of surprising speed over short distances when motivated. Number 12, the California sea lion. Among the most agile of all pinnipeds both in water and on land, the California sea lion can rotate its hind flippers forward beneath its body to walk and even gallop on all fours, a capability that distinguishes sea lions from true seals. California sea lions breathe air and are known for their intelligence, curiosity, and vocal expressiveness, traits that have made them fixtures in marine parks, military training programs, and the imaginations of coastal communities up and down the Pacific coast. Number 11, the northern elephant seal. Capable of diving deeper than almost any other marine mammal, the northern elephant seal can plunge over 1,500 meters and hold its breath for up to 2 hours, collapsing its lungs entirely to withstand the crushing pressure of the deep ocean. Number 10, the polar bear, the largest land carnivore in the world. The polar bear is classified as a marine mammal due to its profound dependence on the sea ice environment and its ability to swim hundreds of kilometers across open Arctic water using its large, slightly webbed front paws. Polar bears breathe air exclusively and spend months on land or sea ice waiting for freeze up, fasting through summer and autumn while their bodies draw on enormous fat reserves accumulated during the spring seal hunting season. Number 9, the orca, the apex predator of every ocean on Earth. The orca is a highly intelligent, deeply social animal that hunts in coordinated family groups and has developed unique regional hunting cultures, including the technique of deliberately beaching itself to snatch sea lions from the shoreline. Orcas breathe air through a single blowhole on the top of their head and must surface regularly, but can remain submerged for up to 15 minutes during extended dives. Their bodies optimized for rapid oxygen delivery to muscles and brain. Number 8, the sperm whale, the largest toothed predator in Earth's history. The sperm whale dives to extraordinary depths in pursuit of giant squid, plunging over 2 kilometers below the surface and holding its breath for 90 minutes or more in the absolute darkness of the deep ocean. Number 7, the southern elephant seal, the largest of all pinnipeds. The southern elephant seal can weigh up to 4,000 kilograms and hauls itself onto the beaches of subantarctic islands with massive, heaving effort, dominating entire stretches of shoreline during the breeding season. Southern elephant seals breathe air and dive to extraordinary depths exceeding 2,000 meters, collapsing their lungs under pressure and relying on oxygen stored in their blood and muscles to sustain dives that can last nearly 2 hours. Number 6, the humpback whale. Known across the world's oceans for the hauntingly complex songs produced by breeding males, the humpback whale travels some of the longest migration routes of any animal on Earth, crossing entire ocean basins between polar feeding grounds and tropical breeding waters. Number 5, the fin whale, the second largest animal to have ever existed. The fin whale is sometimes called the greyhound of the sea for its sleek, streamlined body and sustained swimming speed of up to 37 kilometers per hour, exceptional for an animal of its enormous size. Number 4, the bowhead whale. Living exclusively in Arctic and subarctic waters, the bowhead whale possesses the largest mouth of any animal on Earth and the thickest blubber layer, measuring up to 50 centimeters deep, which insulates it against water temperatures that would kill most other mammals within minutes. Number 3, the North Pacific right whale, one of the rarest and most endangered large whales alive. The North Pacific right whale moves slowly through cold, productive waters, filtering enormous quantities of copepods through its long, arching baleen plates, and breathes air through twin blowholes that produce a distinctive V-shaped blow. North Pacific right whales were hunted to the edge of extinction during the commercial whaling era, and today only a few dozen individuals remain, drifting through the Bering Sea in a near silence that makes every confirmed sighting an event of profound scientific significance. Number 2, the Antarctic blue whale. The largest subspecies of the blue whale and the heaviest animal confirmed by science, the Antarctic blue whale can reach over 30 meters in length and weigh up to 200 metric tons. A mass so extraordinary that it has no equal in the entire fossil record of life on Earth. Number 1, the blue whale, the largest animal to have ever existed on this planet. The blue whale reaches confirmed lengths of up to 33 meters. With a heart the size of a small car and arteries wide enough for a human being to crawl through, the blue whale breathes air at the surface of the world's oceans, and when it exhales, the force of that breath, rising nearly 10 meters above the waterline in a towering column of mist, serves as a final, undeniable reminder that life on Earth has produced nothing larger, nothing more powerful, and nothing more magnificently alive.